Welcome everyone to today's Explainer. Today, we're completely deconstructing the foundational manifesto of TerraVerse TV. Now, on the surface, it reads just like your standard run-of-the-mill channel promotion. But if we take a really close look at the language here, it actually reveals an incredibly carefully structured journey of discovery. It doesn't just casually invite you to watch, it basically commands your participation. I am super excited to guide you through this today because the way they use language to set up expectations is just brilliantly effective. So let's start unpacking this blueprint for exploration.
Let's anchor our whole explainer on this one massive core promise. And every documentary takes you deeper than ever before. I actually want to just pause right here for a second. Let the sheer weight of that promise really sink in. In a media landscape where we are constantly, literally every day, just skimming the surface of information, this text makes a seriously bold declarative statement. They aren't promising some casual background viewing experience, right? They are promising true, absolute immersion. To go deeper than ever before means leaving all the superficial stuff entirely behind. It sets up this implicit contract with you, the viewer. If you give us your time, we are going to bypass the trivial and take you to the absolute core of the subject. It's an insanely ambitious hook, and it totally sets the tone for everything else we're about to look at. To really wrap our heads around this ambition, we've got to break down the name itself, TerraVerse. It's a completely deliberate compound word. First, we have Terra, which represents the incredible, grounded physical forces that literally shape our planet. We're talking the dirt, the shifting tectonic plates, the deep oceans. But they didn't stop at Terra. They attached it to verse, which immediately points us upward, to the universe, the cosmos, to everything way beyond our immediate atmosphere. So by smashing these two concepts into a single title, TerraVerse TV establishes an almost limitless physical scope. Right out of the gate, they are telling us that their playground stretches from the deepest, darkest ocean trenches to the furthest, undiscovered reaches of outer space. Now, what's really fascinating here is how it builds the foundation of their programming through what I like to call the first pillar, science and discovery. The source text explicitly says where science meets discovery. Notice how they position those two very distinct concepts together. Science is methodical, right? It's rigid, it's formulaic, it relies on hard data and peer review. But let's be honest, if you only have science, it can sometimes feel a bit dry. So they pair it right away with discovery. And discovery? That's the thrill. It's that raw human emotion of finding something totally new, that incredible aha moment. By stating that science meets discovery, this text promises an incredibly active, dynamic intersection. It tells us, the focused learners, that you won't just be handed a list of facts, you're going to actually experience the thrill of the scientific breakthrough yourself. Okay, moving on to the second pillar, let's see how this builds. We uncover history and mystery. The text says, history meets mystery. I really want to highlight the specific choice of the word mystery here. Traditionally, history is presented to us as a closed book, just a rigid timeline of things that have already happened, a bunch of dates to be memorized. But simply by injecting the word mystery, TerraVerse completely flips how we interact with the past. A mystery requires a detective. It requires someone to actively dig for clues, to question the established narrative, and to actually solve a puzzle. This single brilliant word choice transforms passive historical viewing into a completely active, hands-on investigation for the audience. And this brilliantly illustrates the complete thematic balance of the manifesto. It's like a perfectly leveled scale. On the left side, we have the physical laws of the universe, science meeting discovery. On the right side, we have the human timeline, history meeting mystery. The platform is explicitly promising to balance methodical, academic disciplines with the pure allure of the unknown. They are basically telling the viewer that whether we are looking way outward at the stars or way backward in time, there is a fundamental human thrill in the pursuit of knowledge. It is a perfectly symmetrical promise of adventure. The manifesto then maps out this exact step-by-step journey, and it's a very deliberate escalation. Step 1. Explore the impossible. You start by totally challenging the boundaries of what you even think is real. Step 2. Uncover the unknown. Once you've pushed past the impossible, you start digging. You actively reveal what's been hidden away. Step 3. Witness incredible forces. Notice how the scale just naturally escalates with each consecutive promise. And the verbs, explore, uncover, witness, they are completely active. You aren't just sitting back on your couch watching. You are out there exploring, uncovering, and witnessing. It's this masterful psychological ramp-up designed to make you feel like a crucial, active part of the expedition. I actually want to zoom in specifically on that third step for a moment, witness the incredible forces. The word witness is just so powerful here. Think about it. A witness isn't just some passive bystander.
A witness is someone who is present at a profound, often overwhelming event, and their job is to testify to its reality. The text is making a completely visceral promise to us. It's guaranteeing that you are going to be placed front and center to observe the raw, untamed power of the natural world in a way that absolutely demands your complete and utter attention.
So the crucial point here is how this next phrase, that shape our planet and beyond, ties the whole shebang together. It perfectly mirrors our earlier definition of the TerraVerse, right? It grounds us firmly on Earth first with our planet, reminding us of the immediate, physical world right beneath our feet. But then it totally refuses to be boxed in there, immediately throwing us out into the cosmos with "and beyond." It perfectly validates the platform's title and reinforces, once again, that this journey has absolutely no borders whatsoever.
So having laid out all these massive promises, the depth, the science, the history, the incredible forces, the text finally builds to a direct challenge, completely breaking the fourth wall. Are you ready to explore the impossible? Again, let's just pause and let the weight of that word impossible sink in. It's essentially a dare. They're looking right at you and asking if you have the intellectual curiosity and the downright courage to step entirely outside your comfort zone. It's an incredibly compelling psychological hook. It makes you implicitly answer yes in your own head before you even consciously realize what you're doing.
Which brings us finally to the ultimate directive: subscribe to TerraVerse TV. Now, in almost any other context, subscribe is just a boring corporate transaction, right? Just clicking a button. But because of how methodically this text built its case across all those pillars of mystery and discovery, the word is completely reframed here. It is no longer a transaction. As it's presented in this manifesto, subscribing literally becomes the mandatory threshold you must cross to embark on the journey. It's your ticket to the expedition. The text heavily implies that by not subscribing, you are actively making a choice to stay in the dark, turning your back on the impossible and the unknown.
And we're going to conclude today's explainer with this resonant, lingering final thought. Because our journey is only just beginning. This one line perfectly synthesizes the entire manifesto. After promising to show you the impossible and uncover the total unknown, they leave you with the mind-bending realization that everything they just talked about was merely the prologue. It suggests this infinite, limitless runway of content and discovery still ahead. And honestly, it poses a totally fascinating question for all of us as consumers of information. When you are given the choice between just skimming the surface or crossing the threshold into the absolute unknown, which frontier are you going to choose to explore first? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.